So hi everyone, my name is Anna Rubalcaba and I work as an event marketing specialist at Citrix Online, and I wanted to share a little bit with you today about how I kind of made it into events marketing, the process that I went through, and then also just share with you some recommendations that I have for how you can figure out, as both of my co-presenters have said, what is it that makes you tick, what is it that you're passionate about. And there's a reason that theme keeps repeating, and as you start your work career and you realize you're going to be working for 40 years or so, you would hope that it's something that you're passionate and excited about. So this picture is actually one that a digital caricature artist did at a recent trade show. So when you think about event planning, I'm not sure what you think about, but I know that it's not what I thought it was when I started. So I wanted to kind of start by sharing with you the variety of events that I work on as a part of the event marketing team at Citrix Online. And this is actually one of the reasons why I enjoy my job so much. I'm never doing the same thing every day, and my event plans never go the way that they're supposed to, but somehow in the end result is generally positive. So there's trade shows and sponsorships, and that's primarily what I work on. So I work at a tech company, and that tech company wants to promote its products through a variety of different ways, and one of the ways that we do it is in person at trade shows. And so we're in the booth, we're doing demos, we're introducing people to the product. Sometimes it's just telling them what our product is, sometimes it's providing a demo, sometimes it's just setting a call up for after the show closes. There's also customer research events. So it's a software company, which means that every year or so, every 6 months or so, our products are being updated. And so we want to know, is that button where it should be? Should it be red instead of green? And we do events that kind of allow our user experience team to interact with customers and prospects to help them figure that out. There's also really fun stuff, which is more probably what you think of when you think of planning events, and those are the holiday parties, the employee parties, the happy hours. Our most recent one was at EOS, and Pandora Radio, who we do a lot of advertising through, hosted a happy hour for us. But I planned it. Not sure how that works. But anyway, there was O Street Catering, which is a food truck. That's the latest, coolest thing, right? Everybody wants gourmet food trucks at their events, and they came. We had a live band, and this is what I do for work. So I usually feel pretty lucky most days. There's also boring things, but I'll tell you about that later. So there's all hands meetings, which is, we have 1,200 people who work at our company. Once a quarter, we need to get together and talk about the state of the company, what's happening, our sales numbers, where are we going, what new products are being launched, etc. And that happens because our offices are literally all over the world. That happens both online and in person. So there's an in-person gathering. There's IT teams, product teams that are involved with making sure that that broadcast goes out live to the entire company. There's product launches, like I mentioned. Basically, there's a new product coming out. We want to create some buzz and press about it, so we might host an event to kind of get people excited about the upcoming product launch. And then some very cool, unique things, I think, to planning events in Santa Barbara, because I feel like events teams don't necessarily get to do that, get to do sales team conferences and incentive trips at smaller companies. But basically, if our sales team meets their goals for the year, there's a trip, and it's always to Hawaii, the Bahamas, Mexico, wherever. And if they make their numbers, they get to go to this event and basically be taken care of for a week, get massages, have parties, be recognized by the president of our company, et cetera, et cetera. So unfortunately, someone has to plan that, and it's a great opportunity to interact. Being a part of the events team means that I interact with a lot of teams across my company, including the sales team. And I wanted to share with you just kind of one thing that I get a kick out of when I do events is creating something. And so when I show up to an event, on the right-hand side, there's giant crates, cables, carpet, and a lot of stuff to unpack. And when I'm done, I have a mini office. I have, internet on both of my demo stations there. I have things to give away. I have ways to collect people's information, badge scans, and that sort of thing. And personally have a passion for creating that and organizing that and having the sales team people come in and just sell, do what they do, I do what I do. We're both happy at the end of the day. Salespeople don't want to set up a trade show booth. And I enjoy hosting and taking care of people. And so I figured that out in my path along my career, and that's one of the things that I really enjoy about events. And this is kind of just a bigger example of that. Those are crates, you know, weighing 2,000 pounds, they're 10 feet tall. There's a labor crew that comes in with tools and ladders, and that particular show we were doing a presentation. We were hosting presentations in the booth, so people were coming and sitting, listening to the speaker 10 to 20 minutes at a time. And you know, being an event planner means that you have to be a jack of all trades. Before I started doing this job, if you would have told me that I had to set up an AV system, I would have freaked out. I am not a technical person, hardly turn on the computer, but now I can set up AV systems. Why? Because I have to, I have no choice. There's a box with a bunch of equipment, and it's like, here, I'm gonna set it up. And then there's a lot of pressure, you know, the speakers are there, they wanna make sure their mic works, do their slides work, is everything working? And so you're kind of, I think the key thing that you're doing at an event like this is hosting. And I'm not sure if that's what you would think of when you're considering this career. The event on the left is an event that we did at Bacara, and it's basically 700 employees in a room, and we were launching a new mission statement for a company. And so we hired an improv company to come in and act out the mission statement. And I got to stay at Bacara for a week, and not because it was so, you know, a perk for me, but because most of the time I had to be in the ballroom making sure it was getting ready at 6 in the morning. So,
but come on, it was a perk.
It was, I mean, it's fun, but it's not a vacation, okay? That's what I tell people. I'm definitely working when I'm staying at the Bacara. And then on the right, that's actually two of my coworkers and myself. We did it, and my boss down there at the bottom. So we did a product launch, and it was surrounding integrated webcam into our online meeting software. And so it's called HD Faces. So we did face painting that day, and all of us were face painted. And we said, let's do something cool. After the event ended, the launch event ended, we were all kind of, you know, still riled up, and it's like, oh, let's do something fun. So, you know, we sat at our desks and we do silly things. So I think it's one of the perks of working actually for a tech company where there's a lot of young people. I really enjoy it. Right out of college, I worked at a small company where there was 5 people, and they were all kind of older, and I was the only young one. So if you can find an environment and a culture that works for you as you're interning or volunteering or doing assistant level jobs, I would highly recommend looking for a place like Citrix. So like my other 2 colleagues, I'm going to recommend to you that you think about what it is that makes you happy. And so I think when I was a student, I heard people tell me this, but I didn't really know what that meant. And so I think I went through a process where I had to define that for myself. And I think that you should do this while you're students. One thing that I knew was that I liked helping people. And so I thought that was going to translate into my career by perhaps working at a nonprofit. And then I worked at a nonprofit. And then I said, no, I don't think that's going to work. I actually want to make some money in this lifetime. I have siblings. I'm one of 8 kids. I'm actually second oldest, and I have an ambition to do something with my career. So I said, okay, not nonprofit. But I did, actually, that was my first event planning job, was at a nonprofit. I was organizing events for a community organization. And I knew I wanted to travel. So as a child, you know, 8 kids, poor family, you don't get to travel. So I knew I wanted to see the world. And I knew I needed to find a job. Is that my warning? Uh-oh. I knew I needed to find a job that would pay me to travel. I had no idea what that was going to be. So I wanted to major in something practical. So I decided to major in business. And then picking marketing was just, basically I didn't like finance. I didn't like accounting. I didn't like human resources. I went down the list of all my concentrations, and the only one that was left was marketing. So I started doing marketing, and it was kind of by default. But as I started doing it more and more, I realized that this is what I was meant to do. And really, the recommendation that I have for you guys is to figure out what your passions are and be persistent. There's nothing that I've accomplished in this lifetime without being persistent. If one person tells you no, go to the next person. The next person tells you no, go to the next person. And just move on until you make something of yourself. Be a student. Take advantage of the opportunities that you have as a student. Intern places. Figure out if the thing that you think you like to do is really the thing that's going to make you happy for a 40-year career. Volunteer your time. That's not a waste of your time. Volunteering your time allows you, it actually not only looks good on a resume, but also can help you figure out, again, if you're meant to do something. And then work. I get resumes, or I see resumes of people who've done nothing. They just graduated from college and they want to work at Citrix because it sounds cool. Well, what have you done? Everyone else has a degree. So what have you done that's special, that's going to make you stand out? And the degree is not going to cut it. So it's got to be experience or something, or some demonstration that you're interested in the field that you're trying to get into. And I'll just close with one of my favorite quotes. I actually have this on my desk, and I look at it every day. Colin Powell said, "There are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure." So I would just suggest to you that you not look at success in your career as the secret that you have to unveil. You just have to keep trying and move along and try different things, and eventually, hopefully, it might take some time, but you'll be successful if you simply persist in trying. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anna. Well, I really love when our speakers play right into the Career Center's hand. I think all of you talked about interning. We can help you at the Career Center with that. It's such a great thing to do, and I think they all highlighted it. And another thing that we help you do is find your passion, build your resume. So many things that all of you said, we are prepared and eager to help you with at the Career Center. So I hope you will avail yourselves on us. Let's open it up to your questions. I have 1,000,001 questions for these guys, so just come on up and we'll, if you have a question directed to somebody in particular, feel free. If you just want to kind of ask the group, you guys can arm wrestle for who answers it. All right, anybody? Yes, right here.
So what kind of characteristics do you